Back at it.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the SwampGas Podcast. We talk about all manner of things that are weird and don't pass the sniff test.
Not many things do these days, my friend. Not many things do.
Indeed, indeed. I'm Don. This is Bruce.
Right.
How you doing, my man?
Same as ever. How about you?
Not too bad.
Good.
Not too bad. Living the dream up here.
That's good. Good. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
So today,
start us off.
we're going to get into a great UFO case.
Please.
And this case is from Dexter, Michigan in 1966.
Ooh, okay. All right. All right. I could use a history lesson.
So, all right. Dexter, Michigan, 1966. So on a farm, it's March 20th, right?
Right.
1966. A guy named Frank Manor and his son saw some colored lights off in a swamp near their house, right? Holy shit. They ran out there. They're looking at it. They called the sheriff. Now, the Washtenaw County Sheriff at the time was a guy named Doug Harvey. He said in an interview, we got a call from the Manors out in Dexter. They seen a UFO. We went out there, saw the grass had been flattened down in a round circle. And they said they definitely seen an object come down and lift off again.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
That's odd.
But how many people saw this thing?
By the end of it, a lot. Let's see. I have police report states Frank Manor and his son Ronald, plus 40 to 60 others, including 12 police officers.
Wow. And then gosh, I wish we could pull up what the police officer's official statement was about it.
Oh, I got all that.
Seriously? Okay, I want to hear it. I really want to hear it.
Yeah, let me get into it, man. Hey, where was I? All right, so the sheriff, Frank Harvey, that's what he said. He went out there.
Okay.
The sheriff himself, not one of the deputies, the sheriff himself.
All right.
Went out there, saw a large round depression in the ground, and that Frank Manor and his son both saw an object come down in that spot and then lift off again. That's important.
Did the police officer see the object come down, though, or did he just see the impression?
The sheriff himself, Doug Harvey. The sheriff himself, Doug Harvey, did not see it himself.
See,
but
that's
others
what I'm curious about. I want to know how many people saw this thing come down and take off. Was it 40 people, or did 40 people see the impression?
Well, see, you're getting ahead of me here. Sorry. This thing lasted 3-4 days. There were multiple sightings in multiple areas.
Okay. Now it's getting interesting. Okay.
Right? There was a lot going on here.
All right.
So Frank had told reporters after the incident that they got within about 500 yards of the thing. It was sort of shaped like a pyramid. Had blue-green lights on one side and kind of white light on the other side. They didn't see any kind of antenna or portholes or windows or anything. The body was like a yellowish coral rock. Looked like it had holes in it, sort of like, this is a quote, sort of like if you took a piece of cardboard box and split it open. Right?
Really?
You picture that? That wavy.
Yeah.
The corrugated.
No, I get that.
Cardboard. He said that's what it looked like.
Okay.
You couldn't see too good because it was surrounded with heat waves, right?
Right. It was surrounded with heat waves?
Yeah. Like you're looking out on a hot day down the street.
I know what heat waves are. I'm just saying. When you take a hot pizza out of an oven,
Yeah, exactly. It looked like a Little Caesars when you're at
Thank
3
you.
a.m.
I appreciate that. Thank you for that explanation.
He said that the white light turned to a blood red as they got closer to it.
Okay.
So the police report, because obviously the sheriff went out there and talked to him, the police report says that Frank Manor and his son Ronald, plus 40 to 60 others, including 12 policemen, so that's both the deputy sheriff and Dexter police. I know I'm familiar with the town of Dexter.
Right.
It's not far from where I live.
No,
It's not
absolutely.
far from where you live.
Absolutely. It's a small town.
And it's yeah, tell me about Dexter.
I just know that I don't spend a lot of time in there because it's a small town. I don't know anybody that lives out there really. So like it's a small town. It's a country town. You drive for a long time on one road. There's like one downtown area with a couple restaurants, and there's not much to it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like one of those like one horse towns, if you will.
Right. It's very small.
Is that even a saying, a one horse town, or did I just make that up?
I mean, it used to be in the 1800s.
Okay. I just know it was like called like a one stop town, and I just threw horse in there because I'm an idiot.
No, I think you're onto something.
All right, fair enough.
Anyway, so 40 to 60 people. Now, this is the one in their swamp. Like I said, this went over the course of several days, but we're going to talk about this one.
Okay, yeah.
But right in the Dexter area for 2 or 3 days, there were sightings happening all over the place. So during this one incident in this swamp, 40 to 60 people had seen it, including 12 police officers. They saw it hovering over a swamp. This is the police report. They saw it hovering over a swamp about 1,500 feet away, a brown, luminous, car-sized object with a scaly and waffled surface, right? Like you said, with the cardboard.
Okay.
In the police report, they said scaly or waffled. But
scaly is an interesting way to put it. Because you don't call, like, scaly is really specific.
And
you wouldn't describe, like, if it was let's say it was a floating tank. You know what I mean? Like just a floating tank. You wouldn't say scaly.
I think scaly. I think of a fish.
I think of like a dragon or a fish. Yeah.
Yeah, a lizard.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's weird. That's interesting. You don't hear a lot of that.
No, that's the first time I've ever heard that described in UFO.
So again, still from the police report, it was cone shaped on top, flat on the bottom, sort of football shape.
Okay.
2 bluish green lights on the right, left edge that turned bright red and helped illuminate the whole object. So you could actually make out, an outline.
Right.
The lights blinked out, and then the object reappeared instantly across the swamp 1,500 feet away.
Wait, hang on. You said it disappeared and then reappeared?
It just zoop and then instantly reappear 1,500 feet away.
I think I want to. I know you're just reading this, and I'm like asking you as if you were there, but like, does it say specifically whether they saw it move or whether they saw it simply disappear and reappear?
What it says is the lights blinked out and the object reappeared instantly.
Okay. So it's very possible that it just straight up disappeared and then reappeared. Which, you and I have had this discussion in private before, but like with, whether these things actually come from like light years away from another planet and they're just like, think about the logic of that. If it's a living being, if we're going to suspend disbelief here and say that like these are like living beings from like Mars, whatever. Let's get really elementary with it, and say Mars. What are they going to survive on unless they can zip all the way here? Odds are that they're able to somehow materialize, rip into our, dimension and travel in and out of them is more realistic than they survive the trip from Neptune.
Yeah, more and more lately, that whole idea that they are nuts and bolts spaceship traveling hundreds of light years.
Yes.
That theory's getting washed away with more of an interdimensional. I see a lot more of that.
Yeah.
Theory being tossed around lately.
And let's be honest, like if we, like I said, like if we do believe that there is like just space junk all over the place, like we're being told, I haven't gone up there, so I don't know. But if there really is all this space junk that's like going out, like essentially, encompassing and acorn shelling our planet, how the hell is something going to like, zip in? You know what I mean? Like that has to be a really good driver to zip in and not hit something and destroy yourself.
Sure. I mean,
Anyways.
we see that with all kinds of other UFO reports, though. That thing descended 60,000 feet in half a second and was 20 feet above the water.
Yeah.
That's a damn good pilot, you
Yes,
know?
sir.
Anyway, back to our police report here. It says the whole object lit up with a yellowish glow at one point and rose up 500 feet, then descended again. Again, that's important. Remember that. It went up 500 feet and came back
down again. Okay.
It's the came back down thing.
Right.
After 2 to 3 minutes of viewing it, a couple flashlights appeared in the distance, and as in people, they could tell that there were people out in the distance with some flashlights, probably also watching this thing in the swamp, right?
Right.
When 2 flashlights appeared in the distance, the object seemed to respond by flying away at high speed directly over the witnesses with a whistling sound like a rifle bullet ricocheting. Ding! Right?
They heard that sound?
That's what the police report says. I wasn't there. I didn't hear it. I don't know. It says the object remained in the swamp area for half an hour. Wow. So this whole situation right here lasted for about half an hour. Robert Hunawell was a patrolman with the Dexter Police Department. He saw the object. He said it performed a series of passes over the Frank Manor Swamp. While he watched, the object was joined by 3 other aerial craft, and they all flew off together. Other sheriff deputies described it being the size of a small house. Say the other said it was about the size of a car. So they're describing it being a little bit bigger. Now, remember, we're talking about a 1966 house.
Now, let me ask you a question. How likely do you think it is that this is some like government experiment thing that they just decided to do on some like small hick town?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said,
this is because I'm just thinking in my head. This is what you said, the 60s.
Yes, 1966.
So there's no
in our father's eyes.
There's no drones that you and I could. There's no drones that humans, that people could have just bought at that point in time. There's no remote control airplanes that people like. Though that technology didn't exist in the 1960s, did it?
Only to a very limited extent within the military.
So yeah, that wouldn't be. So it would, if it was not extraterrestrial, it would have had to have been military.
Yeah, we're talking about the early days of Vietnam here.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah. There's definitely not remote control airplanes back then.
So other sheriff deputies described it being the size of a small house, so they thought it was a little bit bigger than a car. But they also said it was performing maneuvers like no other plane they had ever heard of. Right? So it's zipping around all over the place. Again, 1966. So 3 days later, after all this, after all these credible people, all the sheriff, the deputies, all these 60 people saw this thing, and Walter Cronkite's talking about it. You can't. In fact, let's get into some of that.
Okay.
Walter Cronkite covered this in a CBS special in 1966.
Okay.
Called Friend, Foe, or UFOs, Friend, Foe, or Fantasy. I'll put the link to this in the show notes, so anybody who actually wants to watch the 51-minute show from 1966, they can. But I got a couple clips I'm going to play here.
Reported by CBS News correspondent Walter Cronkite. Good evening. Reports of flying saucers are nothing new. From the beginning of recorded time, men have been seeing unexplainable things in the sky. And there's no reason to doubt they saw something. The question is, Was what they saw really there? And what was it they really saw? The great flying saucer mystery of
His voice.
1966 began here, near Dexter, Michigan, late in March. Before the month was out, flying saucers were being reported from New Jersey to California, from Colorado to Long Island, from Ohio to Georgia.
There he goes. Walter Cronkite himself talking about Dexter, Michigan, right?
Feel famous.
Yeah, like the man himself.
That's right.
Like, unless Walter, back in 1966, unless Walter Cronkite said it, it was bullshit, right?
That's
He
true.
was the end-all, be-all of news.
That's true.
Unless Walter Cronkite said it, it didn't happen.
It's true.
All right, so we talked about the round impression on the ground.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
with
yeah.
the sheriff.
Okay.
All right, so here's another little clip from that.
Dale's undertaker and civil defense director also spotted the UFO and was out with his Geiger counter next day, checking a mysterious perfect circle where the UFO had been seen. Van Horn did not find any radioactivity here, but this did not shake his certainty that he had seen a hovering vehicle with two lights. Many people asked him why he did not go right up to the UFO in the dark.
I'd much rather be a live caller than a dead hero.
I mean, that's solid logic, you know?
That is, right?
I got to be honest.
Since this is our first time with me trying that, can you hear that all right?
Yeah. No. That was good audio.
Okay. So obviously after all this, Frank was, again, this is the 60s. It wasn't 2023.
Right.
They were, Frank and his family were highly ridiculed. Obviously, if you talked about UFOs in the 60s, you were a crackpot, right?
Yeah.
So here's a little bit of Frank telling
Horse
his
had
story.
nothing to hide. Frank Manor,
tonight
the
they
Michigan
found
farmer who had brought in the first report,
Everybody-
was caught in the
everybody-
middle. He was mad.
Well, you can look at here. Look, beer bottles thrown. Look at my windshield. What would you think if somebody was throwing beer bottles at your house, standing out in the middle of the road screaming, nut, you're fanatic, and all that? What would you think?
Are you sorry now that you did tell people what you saw?
Yes, I am. I am sorry because not that it's not the truth, but it's just the idea, the reaction of the people.
Mm-hmm.
They think you're a nut.
So there you go.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong. People are definitely going to say that, but
Because it's false. But because people think you're a kook
Yeah.
for it.
you know what bothers me though? I mean, that bothers me. Obviously, it's the 60s, so they only had like what they say they used a Geiger counter to to see. But that's like, I'm honestly I give them a little bit of credit for that, and that they didn't just like stick a thermometer into the ground and see what it was. But like, I wish that they were able to test for like magnetic activity, like if there was any magnetic activity. But I doubt that those tests existed back then, because if that was the case, that would connect directly. We could make like a line connecting to like the Skinwalker Ranch saga and information that was gathered from there.
Well, it's funny you should ask, though, because the government did send somebody out, not just whoever that guy was with his Geiger counter.
Wasn't the Men in Black?
They sent out, I mean, maybe. They might have sent the Men in Black. But who they did send out was J. Allen Hynek.
Who's that?
Now, J. Allen Hynek, like 3 days after all this went down, they sent out, the Air Force sent out J. Allen Hynek, right? Now, J. Allen Hynek should be a familiar name to anybody who's even casually looked at UFO stuff before. This is the guy that he's a famous astronomer and professor. He was involved with all the big Air Force, quote unquote, investigations into UFO stuff. So Project Sign, Project Grudge, Project Blue Book. He was involved in all of them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Now, he started out his whole career in investigating UFO incidents as a skeptic.
Best way to start.
Well-acclaimed scientist, and they sent him out, and over the course of, oh man, I don't even know how long he did this, but 30, 40, maybe even 50 years that he was doing this, he went from skeptic to believer.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh man, let's see. I lost my spot here now. Okay, so one afternoon, not long after the sightings, Hynek spent several hours looking for evidence in the Dexter Swamp, and he was accompanied by the sheriff, Doug Harvey, right? Afterwards, on the drive back from the swamp, after they're poking around and all this stuff, the round circle and all that, Hynek told the sheriff that he still did not have any explanation for what was going on there. But later, when they got back to the office, now how far of a drive is it from Ann Arbor Sheriff to Dexter?
Yeah, right. 10 minutes.
20 minutes?
Right.
You know? Not long.
Especially in 1960, there was no traffic on the road, I bet.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the cops were handing out beers on the way out.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, literally, the days when you get pulled over for drunk driving, they just drive you home. So when they get back to the sheriff's office, you're on the drive back. He still don't have any kind of explanation. I still don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Here, is what he told the sheriff, right?
Right.
But later, back at the office, Hynek gets a phone call from D.C. Now, this is a quote. Hynek stepped out of the office, took the call, came back a few minutes later. Harvey described him as, this is somebody else describing the sheriff. Harvey described him as looking a bit shaken. He had his head down and he was mumbling, swamp gas, swamp gas. It was swamp gas. Quote, I don't think Hynek knew what swamp gas was.
Really?
So he literally got a call from Washington. It's swamp gas. Don't worry about it. It's swamp gas. So Hynek's thinking to himself, what the fuck is swamp gas? Like, you want me to give a press conference tomorrow telling everybody this shit's swamp gas?
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense. I like that. I like the connection.
So there was also another local sighting at Hillsdale College seen by a whole group of people.
Okay.
That was also blamed on swamp gas. Like in the same 2-3 day period.
Do any of these people give interviews anywhere?
Oh yeah, you can find them. Like I said, I'll put this whole 1 hour special from CBS in our show notes. I think I might have come across one or two others. I'll put those in there too for anybody who wants to watch. So Hynek had to go out there to the public, give a press conference, and explain to everybody this whole swamp gas theory. Again, if you haven't picked up on this, the Swamp Gas podcast comes from the Dexter, Michigan story where they first used the swamp gas explanation
There we go.
to explain away mass sightings of UFOs. Welcome.
Nailed it.
So, Dr. Hynek explained, quote, this gas can be trapped by ice in winter conditions and may be released in some quantity when the spring thaw occurs. No heat is felt, and the lights do not burn or char the ground. They can appear for hours at a time and sometimes for a whole night. Generally, there's no smell and usually no sound except the popping sound of little explosions. Sometimes the lights are on the ground, sometimes they're floating above. End quote. Hynek's statement outraged many people. Everybody thought the swamp gas explanation was bogus.
Well, yeah.
As we all still do today.
Yeah.
But that's still today the official explanation.
That's crazy.
Sheriff Harvey. Here's Sheriff Harvey, quote, with all due respect to Dr. Hynek, I'm not ready to accept this weak excuse of gas from marshes, says the county sheriff. The farmer, Frank Manor, I spent time on army maneuvers in the swamps of Louisiana during World War II. Pretty sure he's talking about Fort Polk. I know it. Fuck that place all day. Hate that swamp.
Yeah.
Frank Manor told, this is an interview with Ann Arbor News. He said, I've seen plenty of swamp gas. That wasn't it. I saw what we saw. So at the time, one of the state congressmen for the state of Michigan was Congressman Gerald Ford.
Okay.
Before he became president. He called for a congressional investigation into the whole incident. Right? Like, what is going on in because he was a Michigan congressman. what's going on in my state of Michigan? We need a real government investigation into this. So what do they do? Give me just spitball. Give me a guess.
I don't know if I could say it within in a polite company. Huh.
Well, I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
There was no congressional investigation. Didn't happen. A quote from him. We've had several incidents in Michigan in the last week. Incidents that many very good citizens felt were sufficient to justify some action by our government. And not the kind of flippant answer that was given by the Air Force where they passed it off as swamp gas. Gerald Ford himself, folks.
Wow. That's crazy. Oh, that's crazy, man.
There you go.
I was going to ask you what the relevance was of bringing up a 1960s UFO story right off the bat.
Weird, obscure story that nobody ever heard of before.
But no,
there
like
it is,
that.
Folks. That's why we are the Swamp Gas Podcast.
Swamp Gas. I know that's probably not a good chance, but I do like it.
So what do you think, man?
I don't buy it. I have a really... We're going to... Golly, man, I'm trying to put this into words because, like, we have so much information about extraterrestrials or demonic, whatever we want to call them, whatever they might be, that it's hard to just say into one sentence or word what I think it might be, because there's so many possibilities. It would be much easier to eliminate what it isn't, you know.
Well, the question though is, what is this one? What happened over that swamp on that farm in Dexter, Michigan? They saw an object surrounded by lights come down. Again, important, right? If it was swamp gas, it would go up. Why would it come back down? If it was swamp gas, it was a pocket of methane.
Right.
Why would it go up and come back down?
So I have some nutty theories that are going to make... I have some nutty theories that are going to get us canceled. So before we even get going. But... golly, I'm trying to put this politely. I'm not even like it would be impolite. It's just in a non-crazy sounding way. So, do you remember the story? And I wasn't there, but there was a story that I heard of. I could be wrong, so please correct me if I'm wrong in hearing the story. That it was like, I believe it was the Nazis, and this is a story. You know, I mean, this isn't like this wasn't in the history books. You know, I mean, this is a story that I've heard. That they supposedly had struck a deal, or it was either them or some part of our government had struck a deal with the extraterrestrials, with whatever you want to call them, the whatevers. They could, they could
I think I know what you're talking
observe, they could abduct, and it was like in exchange for information. They could do experiments on certain, like it was kind of like an agreement. So
I believe you're talking about Dwight Eisenhower's mysterious dental emergency.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. Maybe
that's
what it is.
I think he was in. I don't remember if he was in California or he was somewhere on the West Coast, and he all of a sudden disappeared for like 12 hours. You know, disappeared from the public eye.
Yeah.
When I think he was like on a campaign stop, right? He's campaigning for his reelection.
Huh.
Sitting president doesn't just disappear from the campaign trail.
Yeah.
The theory is he got pulled away to like Edwards Air Force Base or one of the Air Force bases in the area, where alien ship come down and he greets the aliens and they strike a deal for
that's what I'm talking about here.
For experimenting on the citizens and all that shit.
Yeah. So if we're to connect those two dots, whether they be real or imaginary, if we connect those dots, I could see it being something very similar to that. And, you know, it happened a lot more often back then because there was less.
Except as far as we know,
evidence.
Nobody was ever experimented on in this case.
There's
no reports of abduction. There's no
observation. Don't eliminate the reality that observation is experimentation as well.
Sure.
You know, it doesn't. Experimentation is not always abduction. It can also be observation.
Again, I'm looking at the police report, a couple of videos, and a few random quotes. It's not like I went and talked to everybody there, everybody that saw this thing. There may have been a dozen abduction reports from that week that I just hadn't come across yet.
Right.
I'm not looking at the complete picture.
No,
either
sure. And I'm not saying that there was in this case, but I
have also been in the swamps of Louisiana for the Army, and I never seen swamp gas do anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest with you. Like, if any kind of gas did that, if any kind of if science did that, every seventh grade kid, instead of doing the baking soda and vinegar volcano, they'd be doing the
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they'd be doing the swamp gas, the DIY swamp gas thing. That's not real. It's not a thing. Just like
there was another
what's that
part in this Walter Cronkite special where the scientists set up an experiment and they show you, well, here we're going to put this liquid into there, and then we're going to put this lighter liquid on top, and you can see how the light refracts from one end to the other. But the light wasn't passing through water; it was passing through the air over a farm.
Yeah. No, it's
it's
it's a classic when you try so hard. When you try so hard to make it to explain something away, you know what I mean? Like it just seems like they're trying way too hard to come up with to make you not think that you just saw what you saw.
The Gerald Ford said it best. This justifies some action by our government, not the kind of flippant answer given by the Air Force where they pass it off as swamp gas.
Yeah.
This pissed off everybody. This is why you see the swamp gas explanation in the Men in Black movies.
Yeah.
Right? It became pop culture. It became the ridiculous excuse for a UFO. This is the incident that made that the ridiculous excuse to use. And hence why we are the Swamp Gas Podcast.
The Swamp Gas Podcast.
For ridiculous excuses. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't swamp gas.
It definitely wasn't swamp gas. You know what? I'm curious. If you guys are listening, can they leave comments on this?
Give me a second here. Give me a second here. There are plenty of weird things that happen up in the sky that are completely natural. That are some weird light refractions or cloud formations that are just weird.
Yeah.
That happens. But that sure as shit ain't everything that that you and I have talked about, and that
it's nothing that we've ever talked about
on this show.
If we ever talk about that, we'll specifically say we're talking about light refracting today. We're reading rainbows today, but
we're gonna have the light refraction episode.
Can they leave comments down on this?
Not right now because we're not broadcasting live, but yes,
whatever platform,
wherever you are,
like y'all hear us,
scratch that.
What do you
wherever
think
you are watching this podcast right now, please subscribe, leave a comment.
Well, yeah, let us know what you think it was. I want to know what you guys think that thing was. Do you think it was swamp gas?
Yeah.
What was it? They said it was a house. It was as big as a house. Was it the Wizard of Oz?
Somewhere between the size of a car and a small house. 1966 house, mind you.
I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying, man. It could have been the Wizard of Oz, man.
Flying monkeys,
I've seen the movie.
Dude.
It doesn't end well for the witch, I'm telling you. I'm a spoiler alert.
Or the monkeys.
I don't know, man. But
all right, man. So
this was
you got anything else for the Dexter lights?
No, I don't. No, it's crazy though. No. I'm
all right, man.
I'm curious to hear what other people have to say.
I am. So yeah, please leave your comments. What do you think it was? Give me some extra theories to go with. I don't know what it was, but it sure as hell wasn't swamp gas. It doesn't go up and come down. It doesn't join up with three others and then fly off at high speed. Swamp gas floats up casually like a balloon. like a Chinese spy balloon. And then it just disappears. That's what it does. Anyway, man, let's check out some news. What's happening in the world today?
Man.
You had sent me this thing from the Romulus Fire Department. We got to talk about this, dude.
Yeah, that's happening. That's happening.
This is asinine. Let me find it here. Crap, where'd it go? I had it all set and ready to go, and now it's gone. Do you have it there with you?
I'd have to log out of this to find it.
Oh, here we go. I got it now.
Okay.
All right, press release from the Romulus Fire Department. Anybody not familiar? Romulus is a city right around Detroit. It's actually where the Detroit Metro Airport is. Honestly, that's the only thing I know about Romulus.
Yeah, not a whole lot else going on over there.
Just outside of Detroit. Literally the only thing I know. I don't know anything else about Romulus.
Right.
Romulus continues to stand opposed to toxic injection well. Safety of citizens, #1 priority. City of Romulus recently received notifications this afternoon that one or more sites owned by Republic Services, now that's a garbage company, right?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Republic Services in Romulus and Belleville areas are accepting toxic waste from the East Palestine train derailment. Director of Community Safety and Development, Kevin Krause, issued the following statement. The city of Romulus has been fundamentally opposed to the injection well since its inception. EPA and EGLA, that's the Michigan EPA, right, the state agency, preempt the city from the permitting process, leaving the city no choice but to accept the permitting and site within our boundaries. So the feds and the state said, you're taking the stuff regardless, whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
And site within our boundary. As recent as 2020, during the Republic purchase of the well, I don't know what this is about the well, the injection well. Are they like taking an old giant well and
filling it with toxic waste?
Toxic waste? That's what it sounds like. The city of Romulus went to Lansing and EGLA, again, the state EPA, to address longstanding concerns about the site and its operations. The resident safety is our #1 priority and believe that this hazardous material is an Ohio issue and should stay an Ohio issue. End quote.
That's such a Michigan thing to say.
Yeah, right? Fuck you, Ohio.
Keep your crap in Ohio, dude.
I mean, that's such a Michigan thing to say. Ohio, man, but you don't need to bring that toxic waste here. You know, the feds need to figure out.
They're not talking about Ohio State.
And that doesn't mean bring it here and drop it in the hole in Michigan. Director Krause questions why this waste was transported over 225 miles and almost 3.5 hours away to Michigan. Romulus officials will continue to work with county, state, and federal representatives to call for a coordinated disposal process that keeps this waste out of Romulus and out of Michigan. Wow. That's insane, man.
They're just spreading the waste around. They're just trying to.
Yeah, we'll drop a little bit in Michigan. Yeah. We'll drop a little bit in Maine. We'll drop a little bit in Indiana.
Just spread the mess out so it doesn't look as messy. Because they don't know how to clean it up. They're just spread it around. They don't know what to do. Man, Captain Planet would be so disappointed in us.
I don't get it, man.
We failed.
All right. Our next headline here. Women are shopping at Home Depot to meet a man. Now the store is trying to capitalize on this TikTok.
I'm sorry. I mean, that makes so much sense, but I'm sorry. Like, that just tickles me. That's hilarious. Oh, my gosh. You said, but Home Depot's getting in on it, huh?
Yeah, apparently. I haven't read this yet.
Have like a speed dating near the power drills, or I like it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh my god.
For more than a year, single women have been spending hours in aisles of Home Depot sifting through paint samples on their lunch break or shopping for power tools on a random Saturday afternoon. But the majority of these DIY 20 and 30-somethings have zero interest in home improvement projects and probably have a hard time differentiating between a Phillips and a flathead. They're simply here to meet a man.
Oh my
My
gosh.
TikTok, the trend of Home Depot dating.
Home Depot dating.
Recently amassed some 3.7 billion views.
What?
Dude, that's a lot. That's a big trend, man.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Honestly, though, that makes me want to stay away from Home Depot. People are in there like doing TikToks and stuff. That makes me want to get away from like, Home Depot.
Here we go. Sharing meat. What the heck? I don't even know what they're trying to say here. Who wrote this? Sharing meet cute videos of their store mascots. Who the store mascot? Okay,
Home Depot has a mascot?
Yeah, anybody in an orange apron is a Home Depot mascot.
They call him a mascot? That's degrading.
If you would appear in a commercial, I guess you're a mascot.
Jeez.
Holding hands and skipping through the store, the chain is using its own TikTok account to spread the word about how shoppers are finding love in unexpected aisles.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is crazy. So women are going to Home Depot to meet men.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's not a bad option, as far as if you want to actually, meet a real dude and not some guy and,
No, I get it. I see you trying to be politically correct.
That's not going to get us canceled on our first.
You look like a deer in the headlights trying to be politically correct. I love it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not good at it.
Just say, I don't even know either.
A real fucking man, you need to go to AutoZone at Home Depot.
Find you around Swanson and have fun.
Oh, man. All right, so here we got another headline. Biden orders Ohio door-to-door checks. More than 3 weeks after toxic train derailment.
They're going to send people just knock on people's door and see if they're okay?
Like who? Who is he sending?
Yeah. And
he doesn't control the local police. He doesn't control,
We save them all a lot of time. It's not okay, and they want the toxic waste cleaned up. Everybody does.
Here we go. Teams from the CDC and the EPA and FEMA will visit residents starting on Saturday, asking how they're doing, what they need, contact from them, blah, blah, blah. Cool. 3 weeks later. Jeez. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, where were you when this happened?
Yeah, that's a terrible idea, dude. Absolutely terrible idea.
Well, I mean, it's good that he's, they're actually sending people out to, help people. But,
what are they going to do, though? That's the thing. What are they going to do? If you just have somebody knocking on your door, if there's a natural disaster, bro, if there's a natural disaster that just happened outside 3 weeks ago, and, like, the air's not cool, kids have rashes, there's, like, toxic sludge everywhere, and people knock on your door, and they're like, hey, man, we're from the government. Are everything okay?
Right.
We don't have, like, no, can you help us? Well, no, we're not here to help. We just want to see if you're okay. I don't have anything for you.
We're just checking. You got the Trump water, right?
Like, what does he have? I mean, are they at least give him like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Like, you want to give him something? What are you going to give him? Nothing? Like, don't even show up.
It took FEMA 3 weeks to get water to the Superdome after Katrina.
That's what I'm saying. It's not.
Who do you think is left alive after they've been there for 3 weeks without water, dude?
It's a good thing we as humans can, survive off those gigantic water humps we have on our backs.
Well, speaking of natural disasters, headline number 4 here, there's still 450,000 people in Michigan without power.
Yeah. After
this winter storm that blew through.
Dude, that was crazy, man. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Whole house was
now,
just
up here where I'm at, I'm farther north than this guy.
Yeah.
But we got like 10 inches of snow. We got a bunch of snow.
Sure.
But we also had like 30, 40 mile an hour wind, so it blew half of it away anyway. No big deal. Like they called school the next day, and the day after they were back in.
Yeah. No, the kids had my kids had a long like 3 days off from school.
Yeah, say down in your area, you guys got hammered with ice.
Yeah, we did.
So, hey, what's it looking like down there?
I mean, it was a sunny day, so a lot of it melted away. So I was like this morning. I was gonna go get some ice or get some salt for the for my driveway. Get some ice for it. You know, what I mean, I just wanted to make it worse.
Need some more ice.
I was gonna leave the hose on and make it worse. But no, it was the sun was shining, and I was like, dude, it's all gonna melt away by the time I got home from work, and it was.
It sounds like most of the power outages are in the southeast.
Yeah, dude, it's around. There's a lot of people around my area that don't have power, but I mean, thank God I
was thinking southwest, so I was thinking like Grand Rapids, but no, southeast. That's Detroit area.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, that's 450,000 people, man. That's a lot.
No, for sure. And it's for days.
As many as 820,000 had lost power. So they're about halfway there.
Yeah,
almost halfway to where they need to be.
Right.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
Dude, it is. That's crazy.
Let's see here. I had one more. And now I lost it. Oh, you got anything?
No, I mean, I can't even think of anything to add. You've been killing it, man.
I mean, I try.
You got the computer with you too, man. You're killing it.
Here we go. I found my last one.
Let's hear it.
What is the mysterious dust falling from the sky in West Virginia and Maryland? This is a weird one.
Is this current or old?
This is current. This is like.
Let me tell you exactly what it is. The toxic sludge that they burnt off in all of these train wrecks.
That's what a lot of people think. Like, where is all this dust coming from?
Yeah.
This white powder falling out of the sky, all Tony Montana style.
Dude, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, 100%.
Say hello to my little friend.
Dude, 100%, man. That's exactly what it is. It's the toxic sludge that they burnt off because they didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know where to put it. They can't, they couldn't push it into the ocean or the Great Lakes. They couldn't bury it. I mean, honestly, maybe burying it would have been a better idea than burning it.
Well, here we go. From the article, we dug a little deeper and found more people wondering the same thing. We can tell you it's not related to the toxic chemicals from East Palestine, Ohio train derailment.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
False earlier this week. Like, they're saying it was from a dust storm in like New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma.
Sure.
And it's
a weather balloon. Yeah, swamp gas
it's falling. Yeah, right.
No, swamp gas gets rainy sometimes and dusty.
Here's the stupid part.
It does.
Here's the really stupid
when the purple
part.
Mixes with the blue, it gets dusty.
It could very well be just dust from a dust storm in Texas 3 days ago. But they lied to us so much, I can't believe it when they say that.
100%.
I can't take their word for it.
Yeah.
They are so full of shit, I am required to think the opposite of everything they said.
Like, I know what you mean. No, I know what you mean. I feel like if they told me to duck, I'd start jumping.
Yeah, right.
Man.
It's ridiculous, man. I don't understand it. There was one other. See if I can find it here real quick. No.
You ain't got it?
No.
That's all right. We covered a lot of topics. So guys, listen, whenever you listen to us on whatever platform, we are paying attention to the comments. So if you want to comment and let us know what you want to hear us talk about or argue about, we can argue.
All right. This is 5:45. So this is what, 4 hours ago? Lexington, North Carolina. Norfolk Southern Police Department is confirming a freight train derailed in Lexington Saturday morning.
Wow.
There's been another train derailment. Train 75 now stopped in Greensboro due to disabled freight train blocking the tracks ahead. Oh my God, man. I'm not seeing any crazy pictures of, toxic gas being dumped everywhere, but
wow.
One more train derailment. I can't anymore, dude.
Yeah.
Where's the Secretary of Transportation been for all this?
We have one?
He's on vacation, isn't he?
He took the company car. He's been transported. He's gone, man. Shoot.
God, ridiculous, man.
No, absolutely.
So, we covered
a lot today, man.
Lights.
I said we covered a lot today. I'm proud of us.
We did. We covered the Dexter lights, everything in there. I had to slap this together pretty quick, folks. I wanted to get a lot more in there than I did, but
no, we thank you guys for sticking with us.
Yeah. Hey, we're still fumbling our way through this, guys.
Yeah, man. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for listening to us.
Some,
for real. Thank you guys.
We'll have some better software. We can actually add clips into the show. How cool
Hey,
would that
one
be?
day, man. One day we'll get there.
Maybe somebody can throw some things in the comments, some tips on helping us through this.
Hey, we'll listen.
My technology skills are pretty subpar.
Same.
And learn how to talk here.
All right, guys.
All right.
Well, I might as well sign
So that's
off.
it for today, folks.
We gotta let you guys get back to your day.
Yeah. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, comment, helps with the algorithm and all that. Find our show pretty much anywhere else you can find a podcast these days. We're virtually everywhere. I think we're still waiting for approval on Spotify for some reason. But virtually anywhere else you can find us. That Spotify situation should sort itself out in the next day or two anyway. So if you're listening to us from 6 months in the future, that's irrelevant to you. Sort it out.
Absolutely.
Let's see. We're going to get here soon. We'll have some sort of social media up and running.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to contact us there as well. What else? Anything else?
Nothing I can think of. We love you guys. Love each other. Have a good day.
All right. Keep it swampy, folks.